The sports generals are on patrol. Hello and welcome to today's episode. I know it's only December 8th, but we're calling this our holiday episode regardless. So just roll with us on it. Alright? Alright. So, I am your host as always, Josh Unger, and filling in for Brian Fraley, which get well soon, buddy, is our newest member of the Sports Generals team,
Jason Von Young, and I'm happy to be here, my friend, and I'm ready to get started.
Always happy to have you on board.
Sound like a winner. So first topic, today we're going to discuss the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the topic really for the entire show is going to be which teams do we consider to be a happy holiday cheer or a holiday tear?
Right. So, although I don't celebrate Christmas, I actually celebrate Hanukkah. I do know a little bit about Christmas and stuff, and I know the tradition is with stockings, when Santa comes by, you either get a treat of some sort, or your stocking gets filled with coal.
Hopefully not, yes.
Hopefully you get some type of treat, but that's the idea of it. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, you're right if you've been good. I've been a bad boy, so I'm a bubble team.
So you're trying to convince Santa to...
Yes.
Okay, but that's the whole idea of this. Do we think Cleveland teams, as of right now, are they getting good things in their holiday stockings, or are they getting coal? That's pretty much the idea.
It is, and what better way to start that segment in talking about the Cavs, because it's I know it's early.
Yes, it is.
And I know you really have a big thing about talking preliminary playoff talk.
I'm not as big about that with the Cavs this season, because let me ask you this. Let me double check their record, but we have 13 wins. I believe we have like 12 losses, something like that, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. If I were to say that on Wednesday, December 8th, 2021, the Cleveland Cavaliers would have 13 wins, would you call me crazy? Would you say, yeah, that sounds about right? Would you say you're way off your whacker? Whatever. What would you say?
Would I be able to ask a question with a question? And what I mean is, would I be able to pose a question to you after you ask me that and say, well, what are they going to have the hardest schedule in NBA? Because to answer your question, yes, I would be surprised. It is a shocker that they are over 500. But also, if you take into consideration that the teams that we've played so far, which in my estimates has been one of the most difficult opening schedules in recent memory, and to still be above 500, I think that's phenomenal.
Right.
So teams in the past, I don't think that we could have probably have had this type of production. And it just looks like we got a higher upside.
Right.
The emergence of Evan Mobley, Okoro, he's starting to come. Yeah, he's
I like him defensively, but offensively, his numbers just aren't where they need to be. He was a top 10 pick.
Yes.
And right now, offensively, I'm just like, I'm waiting for you to do something, Isaac. I need to see something.
Yes. I've seen this guy take countless of three-pointers, and he hasn't yet. I mean, this is when I watched the game. He doesn't make a three-pointer. And he doesn't make three-pointers. He don't make mid-range shots. He even misses free throws, which is I need you to score for us, buddy. I mean, give us a holiday gift. Give us a 20-point game. I would be happy with that.
I mean, Garland has been great as I don't want to call him the point guard, although he's kind of been forced into that role since Colin Sexton went down with a torn meniscus, which I think you and I both agree. That's actually been a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
Not that I don't think Sexton fits in, but when you saw Sexton and Garland together,
yes,
it was just like not quite there. Something wasn't meshing.
Yes, I totally agree. Is for one, I think the biggest difference, and I think we all can agree that last year the team didn't really have an identity, and no one really knew what their position was. Whereas, and this is even before the Cullen Sexton injury, everybody felt in line. Okay, it seemed like from the start, Garland was the prohibited point guard, and then Ricky Rubio. So they were building off of each other. They would gradually bring in Sexton. Sexton would close the games, but Sexton was a 2. And, he scores a lot.
Which is why he should have been
a 2, yeah.
Yes. Once we drafted Garland should have immediately been at point guard.
Right.
And Sexton should have immediately moved to the 2.
Totally agree.
Did you see what Sexton did in the 2 Brooklyn games last year when Kyrie, Harden, and Durant made their big 3 debut?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a rumor that, well, it wasn't a rumor because it's been confirmed, but prior to that Brooklyn game, Cullen Sexton went into the locker room and singled out Kyrie. Okay, and he told Kyrie.
Wait, Sexton and Kyrie, I don't think Kyrie and Sexton were ever on the court together.
No.
Were the Cavs?
No, I'm talking about when Kyrie was with Brooklyn.
Oh.
So Cullen goes into their locker room. He looks for Kyrie. He says, "Lace him up, coming for you." And that was like basically putting the league on notice that I'm here. And he had a phenomenal game. I believe he scored over 40 points on him.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I did not. Wait, so you're telling me that somehow Colin Sexton was able to get into the Nets locker room, and he went straight to Kyrie?
Yeah, absolutely. It was confirmed. It wasn't on a confrontation or anything. It was more of a, it's gamesmanship. Hey, I know you were here. I'm wearing your number. I'm coming for you. So it's more of one of those. Right. I'm targeting. I want the big guy on the campus.
So you brought up something. Sexton is now wearing Kyrie's jersey number.
Absolutely.
When Kyrie retires, because he's going to at some point, might be sooner than we think, given all the shenanigans that he's going through right now.
Absolutely.
But given everything that he did while in Cleveland and the way it ended with him and LeBron and all that, do you think he will eventually get his jersey in the rafters of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse? Because I personally do not.
I think it should. Okay. Now, there's a difference between what I think should happen and what's going to happen, right? And what type of guy Dan Gilbert is, he tends to hold on to grudges. That's facts. He absolutely deserves to have his jersey retired, be in the Ring of Fame. He deserves it. He is going to be a Hall of Famer, whether he's quirky off the court. Get that. A lot of people can agree or disagree with how he handles business off the court. That's your opinion. But on the court, one of the best dribblers I have ever seen.
I sometimes think he dribbles a little too much.
Yeah. But he's quick. He's smooth and fluid. And what's interesting or striking to me is Garland. If you watch Garland play, he plays with a smoothness. Like it's hard to. It's like you're dancing.
So you're trying to compare Kyrie Irving to Darius Garland right now?
Well, like comparing them as far as like this is Kyrie 2.0. Not doing that. But what I am saying is, when Kyrie was in Cleveland, he had a smoothness, a flow to him. When he controlled the ball, everyone knew who had the ball, and no one can get the ball from him, right? Same thing with Garland. Garland, he has that ball. He didn't, they say there's a lot of mixtapes of him off the court where he's and one mixtape type film, but his movement, like I can't see anyone try to pick the ball from him. He ends up cutting everyone up. And he passes that ball with grace.
He does.
That's a hard task to do.
Yes, I will give you that. But so it sounds like what you're saying is you think Kyrie's number should be in the rafters,
it should,
but you don't think it will happen.
Yes, because of Dan Gilbert probably being reluctant
Right.
to do it, but it's the right thing to do. It is.
It,
We got a championship because of that guy. We have to always buy when come to time.
I will give you that he's the one who hit the game-winning shot in Game 7. I'm not going to deny that.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple other guys that I would say the Cavs do not win the championship without Tristan Thompson, for example. Kevin Love.
Yes.
I didn't love his performance in that finals.
But, it was a lot asked for Love. And if you want to be candid, that is the main reason why we won the championship was because of Kevin Love.
You mean because of that switching out onto Clay and Steph?
Just his selflessness. He's the one that sacrificed the most out of all of the players. He did.
Right.
He had his minutes cut. He come from the Timberwolves being the leader scorer. He had to sacrifice the most out of all of the players on our team. And he was asked to do something he can't do, just defend. And he did it. And he did it with no attitude. And, he hit some shots. Yeah, it wasn't sexy. I get that part, but we needed that. He had the it that we needed.
Sure, but I feel like given the matchup that he had, he could have put his butt down in the post and been more effective. I thought he was a little bit misused, being just stuck out on the 3-point line all the time. Which, interestingly, they're not doing that with him now. They're bringing him off the bench. Yeah, he's still shooting a 3, but it's not as frequent.
Let's be candid. I think we should have moved away from him.
You think we should have traded him?
Yeah, I think so because I heard some fans, I heard some frustration with him where they say he might as well wear a ski mask when he's playing because all this money he's stealing from him. But if the team thinks you're worth that much, you have to take the deal. So you can't knock him for getting that money. But he just doesn't fit with the youth movement.
Right. And on that note, when I saw that we went out and traded for Lauri Markkanen from the Bulls, who coincidentally enough we play tonight, we'll get to that game in a minute.
Right.
And then we go out and sign Taco Fall, which
that's the fan.
One of my guys on So What's the Catch, Mr. Chirk Berserk, is absolutely obsessed with him. He talks about him like
crush him.
I think he does. I honestly think he does have a little bit of a man crush on him. It's a little bit weird, but it's Chirk Berserk. We're not going to judge him. We love you, Chirk. But once they did that, and also drafting Evan Mobley, and they've gone to this whole 3 pretty much 7-foot lineup. I'm like, this is the wrong thing to do. And now it's like they're winning. They have 13 wins. It's giving me mixed feelings because on one hand, I'm like, yes, keep doing it. It's working. We're winning. But at the same time, it's like, that's not the way the league is anymore. Yes, the Milwaukee Bucks won the title last year, kind of going in that style. But I feel like that they were an exception to the rule.
I'll take it a step further. When the season first started, and I knew when they made these moves, I said, so you mean to tell me we're going to have 3 7-foot guys and then 2 6'1" guys playing the same position, right?
Basically, yeah.
And I scratched my head, and it was a little, I was a little thrown off from it.
But you were perplexed.
When I seen them play, and with a lot of guys at home, when you guys watch them, I want you to pay close attention to this. They have to be the most difficult team to score on. And I mean, teams are struggling. Like when we played the Clippers, Paul George usually gets a shot off. 6'20" that game. He comes into the paint. You got one 7-foot guy whose arm, his reach is just half the court. You got another one, same with Josh Allen. Then you got Markkanen. That is.
I think you meant Jared Allen.
Jared Allen and then
Not the Buffalo. We're not talking about the Buffalo Bills.
Jerry Allen. My apologies.
It was funny.
It's difficult to score on them. There's 3 7-foot guys. They're all athletic, and they're not your typical like you said, the Bucks. Bucks, they have 1 7-foot guy with Lopez, but he's a traditional, even though he developed a 3-pointer, he wasn't athletic like these guys. This is a different breed.
But Milwaukee still, they didn't have the size that we do, but Middleton's still pretty big.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker, who's now with Miami, he's pretty big. So, it's not like where you saw like what Golden State did in 2015 and 2016, where they would go like Iguodala, Draymond, Harrison Barnes, Clay, and Steph, which was their small ball lineup. Milwaukee wasn't doing that. So that's why I'm saying they were an exception to the rule.
Right. And we know it's a shooting league.
Exactly.
And that's what the league is. Now, and I just want to paint a picture for you. When you have these 3 7-foot guys, the core supposed to be good defender. Like that's the hope. Like you want him to come off and shut someone down.
He's got a tough matchup tonight against Zach LaVine.
Oh man, yeah, he's gonna need help. I think they're trying to be ahead of the trend. So, in other words,
you think they're setting a new trend?
Yes, with the athletic 7-foot guys that can defend on the perimeter, that can prevent the 3-pointers from being shot. They can shoot 3-pointers, so you can't defend them. And you got guards that everyone is buying into as far as the system is concerned. So, I think they're trying to be ahead of the curve. I'm gonna give Kobe Altman a couple more time before I claim them champs, because I know you don't want to do that. So let's give us a time. But I'm happy the direction that they're going in. They played the Bulls today.
I'm going to that game.
Oh,
that's
nice,
why I'm all decked out.
Nice.
I even have the Cavs logo on my armpit.
Nice. Tip Taco Fall.
Yes. Let me see if I can pull this up. I even have Cavs socks.
We're ready. You prepared? Yeah. Hey, you got to be prepared. I need you.
Yeah. I mean, this is the 3rd game of a 5-game week, and on the back, front, and back end of this 5 games in 7 days, 2 back-to-backs.
It's tough. Look, but reason to be optimistic. Prior to the Utah and Milwaukee game,
which we were in those games the entire way.
All of them. We did defeat Dallas, 114-96, which that was major because that was on the road, and Luka was still Luka. We defeated Miami, which snapped that losing streak.
20 games.
You know what that lets me know? The guys said, we're not going out to kick it. We're not about to mess around. We're going to be focused on the playbook, and we're going to play game, and the kids put on the show. So they beat Miami 114-85, and then they beat Washington. Now, I know a lot of people say, Washington. What about Washington?
They have Bradley Beal. That's it.
No, but understand, when the Lakers made that trade for Russell Westbrook, that's where their pieces went to.
Right.
So their defenders are with Washington. So that's why Washington's in the mix.
Yeah, and that's why the Lakers are struggling, but we can talk about that on a different day.
Right. So what do you think they're going to do tonight?
I think they're catching the Bulls at the right time because Chicago's without Alex Caruso because of a hamstring injury. They're without DeMar DeRozan, health and safety protocols. Mm-hmm. They're without Javonte Green, another health and safety protocol. Wow. Kobe White is out because of COVID. Wow. And they're without Patrick Williams. Wow. So, yes, Chicago still has Zach LaVine. They still have Lonzo. They still have Nikola Vucevic.
That's a lot.
Which, those 3 are going to be the ones that really carry them. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know if Chicago can overcome not having DeRozan, Caruso, Green, Kobe White, Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're right. I don't think they're going to be able to overcome that either. Even Zach LaVine, my opinion, I think he's probably one of the most underrated players in basketball.
His dunk contest dunks are legendary.
Sick. Kid is he's an all-star.
Right.
And it shows. But as you alluded, they're missing too many pieces. And then when you throw into consideration, they're going against one of the best defending teams in basketball, 3 7-foot guys. Now we're going to see the problems start to roll out.
So you think that even though the Bulls are, I think if I remember correctly, I can look up the standings, but they are tied with the Nets for the top spot in the Eastern Conference.
That's correct.
Are you trying to tell me that the Bulls are not that?
Well, I think when it's all said and done, I could see them getting to the conference finals. So I could see them potentially either playing the Nets or the Bucks in the conference finals. But I think they're going to go further than everyone was anticipating because they have a lot of selfless guys on the team.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of them. I mean, Ball alone,
I did not see this coming.
Formula right there.
I did not see this coming from Lonzo because
I didn't either.
You know, coming out of UCLA, his dad was chirping.
Ball brand.
Yes, and Magic Johnson was saying like, number 2 is going to be hanging in the rafters of Staples Center and all this and that. And
I thought it would too.
all this glitz and glamour, and then you're just like, Lonzo, where are you? Can't find you.
And he said, I'm here, but LeBron sent me over here, so that's where I'm at, fellas.
Yeah, and then he goes to New Orleans, and he
still was good.
He was good, but then he got his shot fixed because it was like that.
Hey, yeah, he's a knockdown 3-point shooter all of a sudden. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, is that Lonzo?
Man, his younger brother,
LaMelo?
That guy's the truth.
He's the only reason the Hornets are relevant.
That kid is special, man. That's a special kid. But Lonzo, he has stepped his game up tremendously. He's a selfless guy. Got Zach LaVine. Then also one of the most underrated guys, or the underrated pro list or top 5 pro list, Rosen, because he's good, but he's a good 2 or 3 player. He's not the leader of the team, and it was evident when he was with the Raptors, even when he went to San Antonio. So I think he found his home. I think all of them did. They're a bunch of abandons.
Yeah.
And they found home now.
Right. So I think we've given enough love to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Although, wait, let's answer the question. Do you think it's a little early, but I'm still impressed by the Cavs' 13-12 start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they can sustain this and get into maybe not necessarily the playoffs, but at least the play-in tournament?
Well, play-in tournament is considered playoffs.
True.
Resume. So, but I think yes. To answer your question, yes, I'm impressed, and I know with confidence they will get to the playoffs.
Yes.
It's from positions 3 down to, I believe, 10. They're all separated by like 2 to 3 games. So the East is probably so wide open where it's changing daily. The Cavs got the pieces. They got the youth movement. When older veterans start falling off at the end of the season because of wear and tear, they're going to be right there.
Right.
So
I agree with you. I think the Cavs will make the playoffs, and I don't think teams are going to be lining up to say, yeah, we'll be the ones to play the Cavs.
Right, yeah. No. They're going to go hard out.
Yeah.
Give us a 5th or 6th seed, I'm thankful.
Yeah. But let's go to the team you're repping, the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A
lot of frustration.
Yeah. I always see, if I'm being honest with you, I only see 2 winnable games left on their schedule.
Okay.
And those games are next week against the Raiders and week 18 against Cincinnati.
Oh, so they're going to try to. So you're picking them to lose to the Raiders?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Even though somehow the Browns are favored in this game. this week against Baltimore, which I don't understand, but whatever.
Vegas Bills, just for those at home that's tuning in, Vegas has a lot of hotels and buildings for a reason, okay? When Vegas says something, you need to listen to them. And Vegas have the Browns favored by 3 to beat the Ravens this week. Me personally, I told in the production meeting, I said, I think we're going to beat the Ravens, but I think they're going to beat them because we're coming off of a bye week. If we're going to be candid, the game that we lost to them on prime time, we should have beat them. Our defense actually held them down, held them in check. We just couldn't score. We couldn't score at all.
Because Baker Mayfield should not be starting right now.
Yeah.
He should not.
But what's your better option? That's really what it was.
A healthy Case Keenum.
Yeah, but Case Keenum isn't mobile like him, you know.
Yeah, but he can actually throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He can actually, he's not going to send the ball. Whoop! And the receiver's like, how am I supposed to catch that?
I agree with that. He's not going to make the bad decision. Baker definitely isn't the long-term answer, in my opinion. But that's down the line. And what we have to focus on is this season. So I honestly think he should have took a couple of games off. I mean, why play against the Lions? You know, he could have set 3 games, took this bye week, and then came back ready to roll against the Ravens. But he didn't. And I understand he don't want to lose his job because Keenum, I call him 1 and 1A. Case Keenum, he's the guy you go to the store and you can't get the Baker Mayfield product. So, hey, give me Case Keenum. We're just the same. And they basically are identical, you know, but one has a stronger arm, one's a little mobile, but one doesn't make that decisions. Where Case Keenum, at least he's not going to throw those way over my head passes.
How am I supposed to catch that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough also because Baker is coming home and, you know, prior to that press conference where he said he didn't really care about how the fans felt about him, he's got to face the music now.
Yes, he does. I mean, during their intros, I don't really watch it because they like to use pyrotechnics, and pyrotechnics and I don't get along very well. But I'm not sure what type of if I was able to watch the intro, I'm not sure what type of reception I would give Baker Mayfield.
It's going to be, I'll tell you this, it's worth watching because the moment he throws an interception, has a bad play, or let's say, go down a couple of touchdowns, I think the Bluebirds going to start coming out.
Oh, yes.
They're going to come out the woodwork.
Oh, yes. I mean, look at what we did last season. You go 11-5, you go into Pittsburgh, and you beat the Steelers for the first time in 17 or 18 games, whatever that losing streak was. And then in the divisional round, you take the Kansas City Chiefs right down to the wire. Mm-hmm. Granted, Patrick Mahomes was injured. Otherwise, I think the Chiefs would blow us out by 20 in that game or whatever. But still. And then this season, they're hit with everybody saying, oh, the Browns are going to win the division. They're going to go to the AFC divisional round. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And Baker Mayfield's going to be great. And this is what they've done. Woo!
Well, keep in mind, also, that playoff game last year, yes, Mahomes did go out, but Mahomes didn't go out until the third quarter, right? And we were up. Our defense held them in check. You started to notice a trend. Our defense will hold the team in check, but then number 6 can't take advantage of that.
Right.
And that was evident.
And here's the thing. I'm not trying to sound like a Browns hater or a Baker Mayfield hater. Don't get that perception. I am a Browns fan like yourself.
Right.
It's just I'm objective at the same time.
Yeah, I am too, yeah.
Not to say that you sound like a homer or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying for other people that are homers and might come on and watch us and be like, hey, he sounds like a Browns hater. No. I'm just telling you how I see it.
I agree. I give tough love. If you really fundamentally understand football and the schematics of how the game plays, the things that I say, it'll make sense to you. Now, whether someone wants to be receptive to it, that's a them problem, and I get that. But I've been real tough and critical on Baker.
You have to.
A lot of people say, "Oh, you're a Baker hater. If you're a Baker hater, you're not a Browns fan," and that's nonsense to me.
Yeah.
How could you not want the best thing for your team, and you see something that's holding your team back, and the thing that is the most important element that's holding your team back, you turn a blind eye to that. That right there, that's being a homer. And we as a fan base, we have to get away from that. If we don't hold management to a higher standard, they'll keep feeding us the same thing. They'll feed us the chicken blank and tell us it's a chicken salad. And we're going to eat it because they served it to us. It can't be that way.
Right. And it's funny, like you hear like various team ownership groups say like we listen to the fans and we hear them, but then like if the fans are booing and it's the same team next year, it's like, no, you didn't listen to the fans because we were clearly booing this team last year, or we were booing player XYZ, and player XYZ is still here.
Do you remember the year we went 0-16?
Yes.
And there was a staged walkout, and I remember this. And in my mind, I was like, okay, what is this going to solve? You walk out the game, okay. But the reason it was being done because they said hopefully management hears them. But we also got to understand from a business standpoint, if I have a product that is mediocre or subpar, but it's still selling out, and I could continue to stock up the shelves with it, and the consumer's going to buy it, I'm going to keep selling it because that's good business. All right. And Cleveland fans, we would sell out First Energy every single year, and we had a losing team. And we've been losing for, honestly, since last year. That was the first winning year that we've had. But we always
since like 2007 that I can remember.
2002. That's the last time we went to the playoffs when we had Bush Davis. But if we're continuously selling out the stadium, not talking bad about management, not holding them responsible for always flip-flopping on coaches, hiring one coach, fire the coach, hire a GM, fire the GM, making bad picks consistently every single year.
Justin Gilbert and Johnny Manziel.
Oh my gosh. In the same draft. See, and I'm getting emotional now, so let me take it down.
No, let the emotion fly. You're flying.
Why would the ownership listen to us if we're going to keep buying it? So we got to hold them accountable. We got to let them know our displeasure for mediocrity at quarterback, which we clearly have. Baker, he's good, but you need great to win. So, he's a good backup. I would keep him on board as a backup if that's something he's down for, but not a starter to lead my franchise. No.
So I'll get back to what you said about Baker in a sec, but you touched on something that I actually want to tie back to the Cavs super quick, which is that you talked about how, like, if fans keep buying the same mediocre product, the owner is just going to keep putting it out there and putting it out there. Mm-hmm. When LeBron left, both times, essentially, until this season when we've actually started to become good, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse was pretty much empty.
Yeah, it was.
And
rightfully so.
Right. Because when you are consistently in the lottery, like in contention for the number one overall pick and all that, why are people going to go and watch? Like, why am I going to go watch a team that's going to get blown out by 30? It's like, so ownership saw that and they're like, oh, we actually have to try and make this team like watchable.
Yeah.
And
seriously.
we have to make them try and be good.
Yes.
So, and that's what they've done.
Yes.
And we're 13-12. Again, we're not going back to the Browns or we're not going back to the Cavs.
Right.
I just wanted to tie that
Just
point
good,
in.
Right, and that makes clear sense. The fans, the Cavalier Kingdom spoke.
Cavalier Kingdom. I love it.
And Dan Gilbert listened, or Nick. You know, I think Nick is probably doing the day-to-day operations now, but him, Kobe Altman, I think they got the picture that, hey, it's just a matter of time before they start calling for our jobs or have to seal a team. Kobe Altman, I'm impressed. I'm going to give it time, okay, because I was a real big Kobe Altman hater, okay, I'm not going to lie. So I'm like, what is we doing every single year? We're a lotto team.
Why did we draft Anthony Bennett #1 overall?
Right. And a lot of people are not going to let him slide off that, and I get that. But
Absolutely not.
same thing with the Browns. Until they hear us, and the only way rich owners hear you is with money. And if you're not spending the money, then help me understand why they're not spending. And that's when you have those meetings with the lower management. How can we get our fans a good product to watch? And that's when the changes start to appear.
Exactly. And it's, how do I want to say this? Baker Mayfield was the #1 overall pick.
Right.
He wasn't just like the #6 overall pick like Daniel Jones, but
Right,
he's in New York, so that's a little bit of a different situation.
Right.
But you go back to somebody like, I'm trying to think, like Marcus Mariota. He was #2 overall, so he didn't have quite as much pressure on him.
Yeah, well, he was the first quarterback, though.
No, Jameis was.
Oh, you're right. So James, right, 1-1-8.
Yeah, but my maybe Mariota's not the greatest example, but
I know what you're trying to say. You're #1 pick. You have to have #1 pick expectations.
exactly.
I think it's a twofold reason to this. My personal opinion.
Okay, explain.
I think John Dorsey, for those that are tuning in and not familiar with who that is, he was the GM for the Cleveland Browns that drafted Baker Mayfield. So when your job is on the line and you have up to 5 quarterbacks to choose from, one quarterback or 2 quarterbacks being projects, which was Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, right? But it's a win-now league. And you have to win and save your job. The one that was the most prepared and most ready at the time was Baker Mayfield, because he was the oldest.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
Well, but if you look at the facts, the statistics in college, he was older than all the other kids, and he was married. That plays a factor into certain things because he's more mature, seen as mature. But he was prepared to play now versus having to tutor a new quarterback and teach them the ropes, or a project like Josh Allen, who didn't get good to his 3rd year, okay, or Lamar Jackson. So Dorsey was forced, in my opinion, to go ahead and get the "we must win now" guy, but that wasn't the best quarterback out of that draft, clearly. It was either Josh or Lamar. That's
right. Why. I mean, before I knew that Sam Darnold was going to be ruined by the Jets.
Yeah, that let me down.
Yeah, I thought we should have drafted Sam Darnold.
I would have been okay with that.
Now, I think we made the right move not drafting Josh Rosen because I think I put up a sign like with his picture, like wanted type of thing.
Yeah.
I should make one of those.
Josh Rosen, man. Hey, if you're home somewhere, man. Are you okay, buddy? We haven't seen you.
Yeah, we haven't seen you.
Still in the league.
Last I checked, I think he was a backup for Tom Brady in Tampa.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Because last year he was with Miami, so this year he's with Tampa. Buddy, we pull him for it.
Yeah. You know, Arizona traded up to get you, and then they just kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you because they saw Kyler Murray and that new toy. Like, oh, wait, Kyler's over there? Yeah, we want him instead.
Man, I would have loved to have Josh Allen. I just, the only thing that was not the knock on Josh Allen was because he played in the program Wyoming that was not playing against good opponents in the weak conference, and his fundamentals wasn't there. Like his ball placement, his footwork. He had a lot of stuff to work on, but the upside was he could get on his knees and throw a ball 80 yards. Okay, I don't know about you, but I don't know that many people that can throw a ball 60 yards, let alone 80. So he had the strongest arm. He ran like a 4.6 or 4.7. So he had the tools, and he's 6'6". And if you're playing in Wyoming, you're playing in subterranean weather. So those are all the ingredients to play in the AFC North, which hence now he's in Buffalo. But
and he did not play well in Buffalo weather last week.
Yeah, well, no one did. If we're gonna be fair, it was 50 miles per hour winds. It was tough. I ain't gonna put that on him, but he hasn't been playing as he did last year.
Yeah, but staying with that game for a second, and just in general, Buffalo does not have a running game. They don't.
Yeah,
who are their running backs? Devin Singletary and
Zach Moss.
Where have they been all season?
Good question, man. They have fell off the face of the earth. And Josh Allen, to a degree, was part of the run game because he did a lot of RPOs at the time. But in order to have a run game, you got to have an offensive line. And one could say that the offensive line isn't playing up to their ability, so that's probably why we're not seeing that explosion from their run game. But they got to do something about running back.
Yeah, they do.
Because someone brought up an interesting point. And then going back to that game, when they're going against the Patriots, if they had a Jonathan Taylor, we're probably having a different discussion on how they ran. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's got to be they're not picking the right guys at running back. I'm not sure what their issue is, but this ain't it.
No, it's not.
And that works in our favor. So hopefully we play them. We can run up and down the throats, but they can't run on us. So
we don't play Buffalo unless we make the playoffs and meet them in the playoffs. We won't play them until next season at Orchard Park. I pretty much already have the opponents memorized for next season and 2023. I can tell you, other than like the AFC same place finisher, I can tell you what division we play in the AFC, what NFC division we play. Yeah, I know all that. I'm a schedule nerd.
I'll tell you this, the Bills Mafia has a special place in my heart because when our football team left us, that was the only football team that was accepted to us and said, hey, we want you guys, if you guys want to come to our games and wear your Cleveland Browns here, you can. We know you don't have a football team, but come join us. At the time, I was a kid, but my uncle was in prison, and he was in prison up in Pennsylvania, like close to on the borderline of Buffalo and Pittsburgh. But we would watch a lot of the Bills games, and Jim Kelly, Reed, Terminator. They had a special place in my heart because of that. I never forgot that. Like, you accepted us when we didn't have a team. If y'all ever lose your team to Toronto or something, y'all got a place here.
Yeah,
I'm rolling out the red carpet.
So I'm actually looking at an article that I just found on Facebook from Cleveland.com, and Browns fans are on. According to the headline is Browns fans' top list of most active tailgaters, according to the new study of geotagged tweets.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. So a lot of tailgating in the community lot.
Right. More than 200,000 tweets were tracked by the website Smoked Meat Sunday. Top 10 fan bases for tailgating. So take this with a grain of salt. It is Cleveland 1, Buffalo 2, Philadelphia 3.
It's about accurate.
Okay. Scroll past this advertisement.
Probably Kansas City, I'm thinking.
Go away, advertisement. Okay, then it's Green. The Jets are 4. Steelers are 5. Packers are 6. Chiefs 7. Titans 8. America's team, which they're not. the Dallas Cowboys.
Texas team.
Yeah. Dallas is 9, and then number 10 is New Orleans. And it says the Jaguars have the least tailgating activity in the NFL.
That's not a shocker at all. The only shocker is, and then I know I can't talk because I'm a Browns fan, but what makes you be a Jets fan? Like seriously, like
Ask my buddy Gangrene David. He is a huge New York Jets fan.
man, and I think that's a perfect segue to go into our final topic. But again, if you're a Jets fan, why don't you come to the Browns bandwagon too, man? We'll be happy with that. Now, the college football playoff was released.
Yes. And there's one team that I'm extremely not happy about. I actually made up a song for them, but I'm going to change one word because you never know. This could somehow end up on FCC Airwaves.
Yeah, we'll keep it clean.
Yeah. Team Keep It Clean. Shout out to my guy, Ingraven Vids. He's a Baltimore Ravens fan, coincidentally enough. But it goes, go away, Alabama. Go away, Alabama. Go away, Alabama. Forget the Crimson Tide. Nobody likes you. Again, I had to change a word in there. You can probably guess what word I actually wanted to use, but just roll with it.
Yeah, we're appreciative.
Yes. So yeah, if I didn't make it clear, I don't like the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. But let's look deep into this. Why don't people like Crimson Tide? They don't like them because, to be real, they're winners. They have arguably the best coach in college football, and coincidentally was part of Bill Belichick's coaching staff when he was with the Browns. But that's neither here nor there. But Nick Saban is playing chess
while everybody else is playing checkers.
Oh my God! It's you know what? He's seasoned. He's seen everything you could possibly throw at him. He's experienced. And they got these new up-and-comer young coaches that try to take their crack at him, and he has the same results against them.
It's like Bill Belichick.
Yes, yeah. You could tell that they're both are cut from the same cloth. And I think
if you are a young coach and you are a young quarterback, you don't want to see the New England Patriots on your schedule, and you don't want to see the Alabama Crimson Tide on your schedule because you are going to get chewed up and spit out.
And the biggest thing or the biggest takeaway from both of those coaches is they adapt to the times. Unlike other coaches that get stuck in their ways, hey, we're going to be a ground and pound team, and that's what it is, and if you don't like it, you can hit the road. No, what they do is they listen. They take the feedback from the fans. They take the feedback from the scope or landscape of the programs that's around them, the surroundings. And what have they done? Alabama now has Bryce Young. Bryce Young was probably one of the top recruit quarterbacks of college football, and he's from the West Coast. So he put his pride to the side. They're going to get one of the best quarterbacks, and some are starting to compare him to Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's a little early.
It's too early.
Way too early. I get why people are saying his game is similar to Aaron Rodgers, but no, I'm not ready to do that to him yet.
Yeah, me personally, I do it a lot where we want to who's the next best thing, who's the next one.
Who's the next Tom Brady?
His mechanics, man, I got to tell you, he does a lot of ad-libbing like Aaron Rodgers did. He has the good arm strength that Aaron Rodgers had, and his ability to run and accurately put a ball or lace a ball precisely where only his guys are going to get it. It's eye-dropping, man.
Will he be the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft? Because he's not eligible for this year's draft.
He has to shoe in the number one. I'll take it a step further. This might create a lot of controversy.
The Browns are going to trade up to number one and draft him.
We got the assets to do it. Now, who got the draft picks? Who got the capital, right? We got to pick the strong teams pick on the weak teams. That's football 101 if you don't understand that. All the good teams are going to call up the dumb teams, trade with them, and move up. We have the draft capital. We have a quarterback, a backup quarterback, Baker Mayfield. We have pieces Dearness Johnson, the up and coming running back. We have everything we need to move up and take this kid. I want my team to either A, get a veteran like a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, trades.
Deshaun Watson, I'm going to say because of everything with his allegations and I don't want that.
It could be a turn off. It's more of a whatever your need, like whatever you like. If you're a chicken guy or are you a meat guy,
you're chicken. You're chicken.
Hey, but I'm a meat guy. I'll take Deshaun Watson. I think if we had Deshaun Watson with this team, and yes, I understand he has allegations, but he hasn't been charged with nothing yet.
Yeah, I just don't want that whole
just the circus thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said countless times going back to the Browns. I will say it once and I'll say it again. You might as well go into their locker room, grab all the orange helmets, spray paint them white, paint a big red nose, and make a clown face, and then put a giant circus tent over First Energy Stadium. Ta-da! It's the Cleveland Clouds. It's the circus.
That's unique. That's very unique.
Yes. Have they proven? Hey! Have they proven me wrong?
Unfortunately, you got some merit to it, but
there you go. I win.
I'm hopeful. Now, get back to the discussion. So, who is your picks in the college football? Who will get you going to find the champ?
Okay, so it's between Alabama and Cincinnati. Congratulations, Cincinnati. You're the first team outside of the Power Five. That's the SEC, ACC, Pac-12, Big Ten, even though there's not 10 teams in it.
Some consider the Big 12.
And the Big 12,
yeah.
Which I think the Big 12 is falling apart at the seams.
Oh, yeah, daily. They lose the teams to the SEC.
Yeah.
Before it's all said and done, I think it's only going to be 2 conferences.
Yeah. Cincinnati is jumping to the Big 12, but cool. Yeah. But, so, yeah, Alabama's going to win. Even though I don't like Alabama, I do respect them. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference. Yeah. There are some teams where it's like, no, I don't like them, and I don't respect them either. Right. There's nothing. It's pure hatred.
Like the Steelers.
Yes. Or other teams.
Michigan. Which we're about to get to know in a minute.
Yes. Which, between them and Georgia, maybe I'm doing this, picking them partially because of family connection, since my sister went to the University of Michigan. I have an uncle that went to the University of Michigan, and also because my usual counterpart, Brian, he's a Michigan Wolverine.
Yes, he is.
And maybe it's also because I saw what they did to Ohio State and what they did to Iowa. Yeah. But I'm picking Michigan to beat Georgia.
That's fair.
And Michigan's going to go against Alabama in the national championship. And again, this is partially because I don't like Alabama.
Oh, man. Don't let your emotions get in this decision.
I can't help it.
See what direction you're going in.
Michigan.
Oh, no.
Michigan's taking it all.
Oh, man. There's so much to unpack on that. Okay, I agree with you on the Alabama rolling Cincinnati.
They're favored by 13.5.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's been a good journey for Cincinnati, and I'm proud of them. I'm really proud of them, and I think that their program has excelled.
Here's your present. You get to play Nick Saban.
Yeah, but, let's not throw this away. It's going to be – I think they'll cover the spread. Oh, it's really? Going to be close. Yeah, it's going to at first I was thinking maybe they're going to get rolled, but no, it's primetime game. Cincinnati got a lot to prove. Yes, eventually Alabama's going to roll away in, let's say, the third or fourth quarter. I think at the start it's going to be competitive, but Alabama will eventually roll them. And then as far as the team up north against Georgia, I think Georgia's going to roll them. Now,
Georgia's favored by 7.5.
And again, there's that Vegas term starting to be thrown around. They know Well, they know more than we know.
Yeah. Although I don't necessarily agree with the way they do things.
Right. It's a little dicey, but hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So it's now, they're going to beat Michigan, and they're going to defend Michigan. Michigan got a good defense. I'm not going to hate on that.
You've seen what Aiden Hutchinson can do.
Oh my God, he is a top 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
He's going to New York City as a Heisman finalist.
Yeah.
I
want him to win. I wouldn't mind him winning.
I'm so tired of seeing quarterbacks always win the awards, whether it's Heisman Trophy or going back to the NFL, Super Bowl MVP, regular MVP. I'm like, hello, there are other players too.
Yeah, I agree. I just think what works against Michigan in this game is because it's on a neutral field. So unlike when we played them in the Elements, they're a hell of a team because they're from the Big Ten.
They just rolled Iowa in a dome stadium.
But it's Iowa. Right? So
oh, there you go. Disrespecting the opponent. Or
shut up to the Hawkeyes. But they soundly defeated Iowa. But when you're going against Georgia, who plays in the dome, actually I think they're probably playing on right in the same area that they usually play in.
Actually, this is down in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Oh my, okay. Well, regardless. They are they have a better team, or defensive team. Their offense is a little shocking. Okay, that's where they're going to struggle at. But that could see this being a field goal type game or one turnover away from. And Georgia got man. If you look at their defense, they got about a good 9 NFL prospects.
Yeah, and they were supposedly the number 1 team in the country, except they went up against their, I guess,
mentor.
Yes, their mentor, their kryptonite. That's the word I was looking for. Nick Saban. And again, this is part of the reason why I intentionally did not choose Georgia, because we've already seen Alabama, Georgia in the national championship. We've seen Alabama, Georgia in the SEC championship. Mm-hmm. Going back to the Cavs for a quick sec, when they were in the finals 4 straight years against Golden State, by the 3rd round, especially when they got Durant, I'm like, seriously? Again?
I watch it.
I want something new.
Fatigue. Winner's fatigue.
Yeah, so
but it's the trilogy.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to see Alabama, Georgia in the national championship again. I want a new matchup. I want new teams in there. So I would love to see Cincinnati in the national championship.
That would be good for the sport for sure.
But are they going to realistically? Are they going to beat Alabama?
Probably not. No. I wouldn't mind watching them again, to be honest, because that's like watching the NFL game. All the pieces that Alabama and the difference. Alabama, they were able to neutralize Georgia. Georgia got one of the best defensive lines in football, but they couldn't get no pressure at all on Bryce Young.
0 sacks.
0 because of the big offensive line from Alabama. So I say all that to say this: Alabama against Georgia again. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby Smart finally gets the best of his mentor.
I just don't see it. All I'm saying is I want something new, but it is around 1:45, so I think we're going to start wrapping things up here because I got to get over to the So What's the Catch team.
You got work to do.
Yeah. Make sure you stay with us and tune in to So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland. We go from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It is me, James, Kramer, normally Brian, but unfortunately he is not here today. And the newest addition to the So What's the Catch team, founder of Cleveland Sports Talk, Zach Shafran. He did a great job last week. So make sure to tune in. You know we're going to have opinions about the college football playoff. You know we're going to have opinions about the Browns.
Opinions? No.
Me? What you talking about? What you talking about, Wes? I don't even think I was about but I know that much. What are you talking about? Really?
Hey guys, we thank you guys for joining us. please tune in next week. Let's say, go Browns.
Yes, go Browns. Please beat the Baltimore Ravens. Please.
Got to. The season depends on us.